I used to volunteer in an animal shelter and often spent time with some of the shy, nervous, feral, and semi feral dogs. A lot of times, those dogs were paired with more confident dogs. I used to go into the kennels to walk the dogs, and often the scared dogs would want to go on a walk with their more confident buddy, but they were afraid to let me get close enough to put a leash on. But if I use the confident dog as sort of a buffer between me and the scared dog would stand still next to the confident dog and allow me to reach around and get the leash on. I adopted one of those shy dogs. His name is Murphy, and he's the black one in this video. The first few times Murphy had to go to my vet, I took Puddin along as sort of a support dog. Puddin is a tan dog in the video. A buffer dog or support dog or simple social facilitation can be useful for all sorts of things, like grooming. In these next few clips, you'll see me Dremel Murphy's nails along with Puddin's, and a couple times I even reach over Puddin to Dremel Murphy's nails. This is more of an reenactment since Murphy is pretty good with nail trims. He is a little bit jumpy on his right foot, and a couple of times I even rest his foot on Puddin's back and he's pretty relaxed. Using this method isn't going to be appropriate for every dog. You don't want to put any stress on the buffer or the emotional support dog. He or she will need to be a willing participant. Both dogs will need to be very dog friendly and comfortable in tight spaces with each other. This is going to normally work best between family dogs or dogs who are great friends who have known each other for a while. If there are any resource guarding issues, you don't want to try this. And by guarding resources, that could be food or space or even guarding of the humans themselves. This should not take the place of desensitization and counter conditioning. But the buffer dog might be a useful adjunct to the desensitization process. For example, normally when we help a dog feel better about nail trims, we don't start with just trimming the nails right away. We might start with just reaching towards the dog and treating. So if we have a buffer dog, we could start with reaching around the buffer dog. Then later, instead of reaching around the buffer dog, we might try reaching with the buffer dog nearby, and eventually kind of fading out the buffer dog, and hopefully the less confident dog will start to feel better about reaches without the buffer dog being nearby. Then we may or may not want to bring the buffer dog back when we want to move on from reaching to actual touching, and from touching to foot handling, and maybe from foot handling to instrument desensitization, and so on. You might note that Puddin is considerably smaller than Murphy. Sometimes it's better if the emotional support dog is the same size as or bigger than the scared dog. They can be more of a buffer that way. And social facilitation can be useful for grooming even when you have two confident dogs. And I have a couple of videos on that I'll link here. Be sure to discuss nail trims and other grooming procedures with your vet or professional groomer. And discuss buffer dogs and social support dogs with your professional trainer or behaviorist.